Well, thanks, Sarah, for inviting us into your studio, also your bedroom.
Yep.
Now that's got to be kind of weird that we bust into a very private place.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's fine, you know.
But this is where you make your music.
This is where I would make all the music, yeah.
There's a line I really like it. I've read you say about the fact that it's instrumental music you make, but you said, I think it was, but I'm the singer, I sing in synths.
Yeah.
It's a really lovely line.
Yeah.
And did that feel, because some people, obviously instrumental music, it's very difficult for them to locate necessarily directly what the emotion of the track is.
Yeah.
But do you feel that that's something that you really want to explore?
Yeah, I've never really been into lyrics or singers. I mean, I like the sound of singers and like the sound of rappers, but I never really paid attention to what was being said, just because I was so into the music behind and studying that. Also, like, limitations with studio as well. Like, it would be really hard for me to find vocalists and bring them in here. And I'll have to go to like a proper studio or something like that.
What would be the process of you selecting who the voices would be? Would that? I mean, would it be? Because I've noticed that obviously vocalists need to be brought into the ambience of this kind of music, and it's very careful. It's very important who that voice is and what that voice is doing.
It would be pretty hard for, well, I think, a vocalist to try and sing or rap on my songs, just because there's so much in my music going on. They would have to sing with my synths. But then again, that could be a really nice contrast. But we never know. Well, maybe later on in the future. I would like to make really good pop music.
Yeah. But that's part of the sensibility as well, isn't it? Because you've come in fundamentally experimental, electronic, in your bedroom with as much machines as you can muster. But you like the idea of pop.
Yeah, exactly. Being born in the 80s, Mum was listening to Madonna and stuff like that. My sister's into like New Kids on the Block and Wham. Me being into computer games in the 90s, I've always liked pop. Everyone loves pop, I think.
Yeah. So when you said
good pop.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
You have an idea of what good pop is. What's your good pop for you?
Madonna. Probably, just Madonna, I guess.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
And why is that?
I don't know, I really like Madonna's voice, especially the earlier stuff. I really like whiny voices. I do. I think that's why my synths are a bit whiny as well. Yeah. Maybe I'm trying to kind of, copy that in a sense.
Yeah,
But, like Madonna and Michael Jackson had that certain emotion that I actually felt from a very young age. And I think I've always tried to chase that with just finding tunes to DJ with or buying albums. I'm always chasing that one feeling, which is why I'm addicted to music, I guess. These days it's very rare.
You said about how you'd studied music, the dubstep. And that's interesting because from the outside you wonder if there are so many rules and regulations about, in the end, what makes it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about dubstep. It was so kind of, it was a dub plate culture. It had to be like about 140 BPM. It had to have sub bass. You had to kind of learn frequencies and how to get that sound, get your mix downs right.
How did your explorations go then? What did because you mentioned it, and there is a sense that it's sort of almost opaque, what it is, and obviously those inside it know exactly what it is.
Going to a dubstep night for the first time, I was a little bit weirded out by it, but I loved it because it was in Red Star in Camberwell, and all the clubs I'd ever been to were very champagne, nice trainers or nice shoes, looking good, feeling like you have to belong in that place. But you walked into Red Star and you were like these people are actually here to listen to music.
So this wasn't about a soundtrack to a lifestyle. This
Exactly.
was the music
Exactly.
Itself,
maybe I was a bit late with it, but I totally enjoyed it and went home thinking, what record should I buy?
Yeah.
Reading Dubstep Forum. Reading Dubstep Forum for a long time and kind of, because at that time Dubstep was a very kind of cute little community and it was hard, you felt kind of weird trying to talk to anyone that was in it. So weird. But that's the same thing with like most scenes, I guess.
Yeah.
but Dubstep Forum, you know, I'd read it constantly. I think I read it for about a year and a half before I actually got a username.
Yeah.
But that was a very good resource on just, I don't know, dubstep purity, I guess.
Cracking the code, was it like?
Yeah, I kind of. I don't want to sound like you know, I wanted to get in this scene or anything, but
it sounds a bit like that, you know.
Yeah, it just, to me, dubstep was a little bit. It was precious, and like I didn't want to ruin anything. Like, you kind of feel like, what can I offer in that community? And I think a lot of people actually felt that, like, people would write blogs, just write on Dubstep Forum, put nights out, and it felt like everyone was really helping to promote the scene, and it was kind of taking over people's lives, which isn't really happening right now.
So how do you feel about that? I mean, the idea that there's a secrecy to it, and it's a special place for people to go, and then other people, and then the media especially start to sort of poking in.
Yeah, but we knew it was going to happen. People saying they didn't want it to go the same route as drum and bass, but obviously there's certain sides to it that will. But I love dubstep because it had like a house element to it, techno element to it, R&B element, hip hop element. It was like, to me, the perfect genre, the genre I've always been waiting for.
And why is that? That tendency to mutate, to constantly change shape and shift form. What is it about that particularly appeals to you?
Just like I said, it was just everything. Like, you kind of were thinking in your head, but obviously there was nothing out there. And then I found it, or it found me at probably the right time, where I was listening to hip hop, but it was not really doing anything really. Jay Dilla died, and I kind of felt like there was like no one else, and everyone was trying to make Jay Dilla type beats, and that to me got a little bit boring. Hardcore died a long time to me. R&B was turning really pop. You know, you loved UK garage whenever you went to a club that was playing UK garage, but nobody was making UK garage anymore. So dubstep was, you know, it was perfect. It almost feels like fate in a way. And
you talk about this sort of 18-month period, looking at the forums and everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
How was your music making evolving in that period?
I was just making anything, just to that BPM, because that's what I thought it was about, and I still do. Just mucking around with structures. Basically, a lot of people were saying you could do anything with dubstep, but it just has to have sub bass. So that's what I was doing when you used to go to Forward. Well, still now. People were really kind of captivated by the sub bass, the warm feeling of it, the way it would move you inside. You know, you heard that line, "Big up your chest," and that kind of stuff. You know, I've never heard music like that, and I just wanted to maybe try using my hardcore influences by having kind of weird structures, maybe, but still I want DJs to play it.
What happens when you move? You know, you move away, say, from the BPM. You move away from certain of the rules. What happens to it?
Yeah, well, I have. You know, things in the last 2 years got a little bit housey with UK funky, and a lot of UK funky artists playing dubstep, and dubstep artists playing UK funky. I guess that has something to do with Rinse FM. People always listen to Rinse FM. I listen to Rinse FM all the time. But it's just progression. I love progression. You know, like my album, I love it. But I made it between 2008 and 2009.
Yeah.
But to me, that seems like such a long time ago.
Yeah.
Just because I'm still a new producer, and I'm still experimenting. I'm still trying to find my sound, which I probably have, but I don't know it, kind of thing. So this year I've just been making houseier type beats, from 125 BPM to maybe 135. And my sets don't contain any dubstep songs. So it's kind of weird how we love this dubstep that came out, but no one's making dubstep anymore, really. I find that a little bit weird.
Is that also the sense that once the secrecy's been cracked slightly by an outside world, it's like the very nature of why you in the first place wanted to go there was because it was special and it was your own. As soon as other people start putting their fingerprints, interfering with it, you want to move somewhere else. It's like a...
Yeah, I guess I've never really thought about that, but I guess that would happen naturally. You just constantly want to do something different.
Yeah.
You always want to be original. You don't want to, you don't want to confine to formulas and that kind of stuff. And as a producer, you want to feel challenged.
Yeah.
Well, I do. I guess it does annoy me as well being called like Lady of Dubstep and Princess of Dubstep, and it's like, come to my show and I don't really play any dubstep anymore, really. And,
yeah.
But that's because people are a little bit behind, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, we're always trying to progress maybe a bit too much.
Do you worry about that in terms of the pop side of you, that the constant restlessness, in a way, is alienating a possibility? Because it has to stick, doesn't it? And the very nature of things having to stick, it becomes kind of familiarity that you tended to avoid previously. But that's the way.
But this is just the circle, I guess, of UK underground dance music. It's always going to evolve, mutate, whatever. I don't like kind of thinking about the future. Like, I want to progress and stuff, but it's...
But that's interesting, because your music imagines a future, I think. And
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting. So when you say you don't want to think about a future, you just mean in terms of what's happening to you?
Yeah, and what would happen to, the genre formerly named as dubstep. And what like, nobody has yet put a label on this new kind of mutation. And I guess people don't want to either.
It's often the moment when things die, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we've gone beyond genre. Like, this is the iPod genre, generation. Everyone shuffles, everyone plays whatever. A lot of people using Serato, where they're just playing by BPM rather than genre these days.
If the point is to evade a genre, and it's to work in a sort of a series of limbos, if you like, in a series of spaces, what psychological... I suppose the key thing is keeping it being played on the dance floor, I guess. Is that the thing that locates it?
With my album, I wanted it to be kind of dancehall and listening at the same time, but recently I've kind of thought about the dancehall more, just because I'm in clubs more. You kind of learn to know what would work, and it's usually the same thing in every city.
Is it?
Yeah, more or less, which is really interesting. Every time I play Duke or Chicago House, people are always moving to the same. They move the same. They scream the same. And to me, that's really interesting. This morning, I watched the video of me on YouTube when I played in Singapore, and for the last half an hour of my set, I was playing Duke, and I heard someone in the crowd on the video saying, "Way dubstep," and I thought it was a little bit funny, but it's nice to know that those genres kind of can cross over and play with each other a little bit.
And that experience travelling the world and playing lots of clubs in different countries and different cities, what do you notice that is a kind of link between everyone and what they seem to be craving, what they respond to? Has it changed your mind about what music does to people?
A little bit. I find comfort knowing that if these tunes can move me, then they should move other people. I think a lot of people, when they come up to me before I play, they're like, "Oh, play some great dubstep," that kind of stuff. And then I play my set, and they're like, "Oh, it wasn't dubstep at all. Like, what is this music?" And I was like, it's just, I don't know. I always just say it's just London. Sorry, we're confused, And it's kind of nice that they loved it, and I knew it would move them, kind of thing.
What do your mum and dad and your sisters think of the sound you make?
I don't think they really kind of understand the music or anything like that. They love what I'm doing. They're proud of me.
So they're okay with you in music now?
Yeah, they're okay, yeah. After they see me in a magazine and stuff, it's fine, don't worry about it. But like my mum, she thinks I'm like a celebrity or something, and I'm making loads of money and stuff like that, and she sees me in magazines and she tells all her friends, and to me it's a little bit weird because I can't, like 2 years ago I told her, look, I just got signed I'm making an album. And she was like, oh, you're moving to a big house and stuff like that. I was like, I don't think it's gonna be like that. I'll probably just be on a normal person wage, but you know, it'll be nice. People will know my music, but when I walk down the street, nobody will know who I am, which is what I want.
Right, yeah.
And I think people are so kind of like reality TV, celebs, Now magazine, and people get a little bit kind of confused. Like, you do music, shouldn't you be famous, kind of thing, and it's not the case.
But that's interesting with this, because it's some people talk about it as a global phenomenon, and yet on the other hand, it's very secretive. And is there
best kept secret.
Yeah, and is there an element also of the names and the you know alter egos that you tend to use? Is that also part of that in a way, that you could become quite well known, but it's still behind something on the screen?
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah. Even when I sometimes go into the club, people don't recognise me. Just because, you know, they probably saw a picture of me in 2008 or something like that, which is, you know, I like that stuff, you know. Like, I'm not a celebrity. I really don't want to be a celebrity. I just want to make music, DJ, and I want that to be my life. And if I could do that without being known to, you know, it's... You know, you might say it's like a hyperdub thing, but it's not. It's a personal thing, you know. And
in the space in between Sara and Ikonika, is that where the music is in a way? Is the
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Sara will probably be the one that listens to the music, and Ikonika will be the one that, you know, maybe that feeds Sara or something like that. Don't know. I think it's pretty weird.
And if you did move into that big house, would you have to take this with you brick by brick and rebuild it? And or could you imagine making music outside this place?
I'll probably make sure there was like a tiny box room just for the music and no windows and stuff like that. It would be a bit weird. I mean, when Hyperdub gave me my advance money, I really didn't know what to do with it. Bought a couple of synths and I haven't really bought anything else after that. So I don't know if I'd go crazy and start buying loads of stuff. But the problem with buying loads of stuff is you have to learn one of those things like slowly, and you wouldn't be able to use all those things at once. And I kind of think about when I was a drummer, you know, I'd have one drum kit. Maybe I'll change the cymbals around to give a different sound, or I'll tune the skins. Or had the hi-hat higher or lower.
Yeah.
It's still the same drum kit.
Yes.
And still the same stands.
Yes.
And it's probably the same if you're a guitarist. You use one instrument most of the time. I want production to be like that. You know, it's all of this is my instrument.
I was just going to say, do you think as an instrument? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to. I'm not bored of it yet. You know, I think only get new stuff if you're bored of it. Bottom line, yeah, it would be weird to have a big house with a big studio or whatever, I guess.
Okay, Sara, thanks ever so much.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you for inviting us into your studio.
No problem.